Hey, what's going on everyone? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another Stay Tuned video. And today we're talking about the loaded question because it's back. This week you can get yourself a loaded question from this week's Grandmaster. So if you're still looking to get a good fusion rifle, or you're just interested in the loaded question, this video is for you. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about some of the perks that I can get, some of the perks that you should be looking for PvP and for PvE. And I'll tell you a little bit about the weapon, what I think about the weapon, how I think the weapon fits in the meta, and all that good stuff. But without further ado, let's actually start looking at some of these perks. So in the first column for PvE, we got two pretty similar perks. We have Overflow, which is going to overflow the magazine whenever we pick up some special or heavy ammo. It's going to double our magazine size. So if you have a magazine size of 8, you just immediately go up to 16 when you pick up some heavy ammo. Overflow is actually a pretty fantastic perk, and it pairs up really well with some of the perks in the other column. So Overflow, fantastic. If you get Overflow, you're in pretty good shape. Now the other perk that I have on this slot is Envious Assassin. Whenever you get kills with your other weapons, it will overflow this weapon's magazine. This is just another way to overflow the magazine. I think with Envious Assassin you can actually overflow the magazine even more than you can with Overflow, because Overflow only doubles it. But if you get enough kills, you could actually get even more in the magazine with Envious. But it does take a little bit of work, because with Overflow, all you have to do is pick up some heavy ammo and you immediately use Overflow it, double your magazine size. But you will have to get some kills with either your heavy weapon or your primary weapon or your other special weapon, whatever you're using, so you can actually overflow your magazine with Envious Assassin. Both of these perks are really good because they have a pretty similar effect, just overflowing the magazine. And that's pretty much what we want to get with this weapon. We want to try to overflow our magazine to get as many shots in the magazine as we can, so we can really take advantage with some of the other perks in the other slot. And speaking about those perks, we should probably start looking at them. On the second perk, what you're really looking for is one of the burst perks, either Control Burst or Reservoir Burst. They both are going to be a little different, and they're going to be better in different situations. Reservoir Burst is going to give you a little bit more of a damage increase when your magazine is full. You deal 25% extra damage, and of course whenever you kill an enemy, they explode and deal damage around them, so you can even add clear a bit with this fusion rifle. And that is the reason that we went with Overflow and Envious Assassin to overflow our magazine, because as long as our magazine is overflowed, we always have Reservoir Burst active. I really like Reservoir Burst, it's really good even when you're not dealing with like a big enemy, even used for killing big groups of small lads. Reservoir Burst is really good for that, so it's a really good one. I could definitely see Reservoir Burst being amazing for dealing with big enemies, dealing with small enemies. Overall, Reservoir Burst is just more versatile than Control Burst. But Control Burst does have its benefits, and I do like it a little bit more for single target damage. The damage increase is not as high as with Reservoir Burst, it's only 20 instead of 25. But you do get a 10% decrease on your charge time, so you're going to be charging this weapon faster. And when you're shooting a big target like a boss or a champion, you usually are always going to have Control Burst active. So you're always going to have that extra damage, you're always going to have that faster charging speed. That's why I really like Control Burst. So Control Burst, I like it a little better for single target damage. It's good for dealing with beefy targets. But Reservoir Burst does give you more ad clear, and just it's a little more versatile than Control Burst. You can definitely use it a lot more often. So those are the two choices that you should be going for in PvE. Now let's take a look at some of those perks if you are planning on taking this thing into the Crucible. There's a couple of good ones, but definitely not as many. For the first perk, we have Under Pressure, or Firmly Planted. Under Pressure gives you increased stability and accuracy as your magazine gets lower. In the Crucible, this thing is pretty much always on. You're always getting the extra stability, you're always getting that extra accuracy. So Under Pressure is a fantastic perk to have on an fusion rifle, not even just on this one. So that's always a great choice to go with. Firmly Planted is gonna be another good perk, also increasing your accuracy, stability, and also your handling on top of that. So the only thing about this is that you will have to crouch with this to actually get firmly planted to proc. So sliding does count, so you could slide into somebody and you'll have that increase to your accuracy and stability. Both of these perks, they're fantastic. It kind of just matters how you want to play with your playstyle. If you're someone that slides a lot, or you don't mind crouching before taking a shot, then Firmly Planted would be one that's really good for you. Firmly Planted is one that I use quite often on fusion rifles. I've kind of gotten used to the Firmly Planted playstyle, so it doesn't really feel weird to me anymore. But if that's not something you do all the time, then Under Pressure is also going to be a fantastic perk that you can go for. Now for the second role, there's not that many perks that are really that great. The only one that really stands out that you probably would want on this weapon is Eye of the Storm. Eye of the Storm is going to be a fantastic perk for increasing your accuracy. So whenever you're charging up your fusion rifle and take a couple of shots, that procs Eye of the Storm, and you're going to hit them back with some insane accuracy. So Eye of the Storm is pretty good. It won't come into play all the time, because sometimes they'll be full health, you peak, and Eye of the Storm just literally does nothing. But that's what the other two perks are for. The other two perks are consistency perks, Firmly Planted and Under Pressure. And, Eye of the Storm is just to get us out of some of those situations where we're already taking damage. And we really need that one shot to actually one-shot the enemy. That's a bit of a weird sentence. But yeah. So Eye of the Storm is going to be your go-to perk in the second slot. Nothing else in the second slot seems that great. They're either very niche or very hard to proc. Like Reservoir Burst would be a fantastic perk in Crucible if it didn't require a full magazine. But yeah, those are the perks that you should be looking for. When it comes to the loaded question, I think it is still a very fantastic fusion rifle. It definitely leans more towards a PvE fusion rifle. I mostly use it in PvE. Sometimes I do take it out and use it in Crucible, but mostly I have it in like PvE activities. Really good for like GMs. I used it a bit on some of the master challenges. So the loaded question is always a good choice that you can have. The role that I usually use most of the time is Overflow Control Burst. Having like 12 in the mag and being able to shoot with Control Burst just over and over again, it's really nice, especially once you run out of your heavy weapon. And let's say you were like in the final stand of a boss and you just want to get some damage out there, the loaded question can actually be really good and output some pretty good damage because it's a high impact, you have lots in the mag, you're doing the extra damage with Control Burst, while at the same time you're shooting faster. So do I think that this weapon is still worth it? 100% I do. I do think that this is still a fantastic fusion rifle that you should definitely go out and get. Especially since they unlocked all the GMs this week. So you don't even have to do the weekly GM. You could go with an easier one and still get yourself a loaded question. But yeah, those are the perks that you should be looking for on the loaded question. Good luck if you're gonna try to get a good one. Thankfully, it has some really solid perks. So hopefully it won't take you too long before you actually get a good throw on your loaded question. Anyways, thank you for watching everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, have a good rest of your day. Peace.